Ciao friends, welcome to Simple Italian Cooking. My name is Liz and I'm so glad you're here today. We are going to be having an amazing Italian dish that you are going to learn how to make and do yourself. And it's going to taste just as good, if not better, than when eating out. And that's using a really basic olive oil and garlic and shrimp with pasta. And the type of pasta we're using is going to be a long pasta. I just put it in some boiling water. I'm just using spaghetti. I'm going to go over what type of shrimp we're using. I'm going to go over how flexible you can be with this recipe. So if you have ever been hesitant to make a pasta and shrimp dish, fears be gone, because I'm going to show you how to do it. All right, so the first thing we're going to do, let me just go over the ingredients that I'm using for this recipe. Okay, I'm using some extra virgin olive oil, organic. Okay, if you have organic, great. If you don't, at least make sure it's extra virgin first cold pressed, best flavor. And then we're gonna have what do we have here? We have garlic. I'm gonna be using about 2 cloves of garlic for this dish. Okay, I'm gonna go over the quantities and what to do about them, depending on how much you're making. So just hang tight. And then we have some shrimp here. I'm going to show you how to thaw it real fast. Then we have some lemon, show you when to use it and how to use it properly. And then some optional stuff, which is some salt that you can add to the dish if you like to enhance the flavor just a little bit. You don't need it. So if you're trying to cut back on that sodium, this is a good dish. You don't have to have it. And then some crushed red pepper. The reason why I'm including this, because I don't always use crushed red pepper, is some people just love it. So I wanted to make sure I at least include it for those who really like a little bit of a kick. So, all right, the first thing we're going to do is we are going to thaw the shrimp. So I have quite a bit to say about the shrimp, but it's frozen right now. I have a little over 4 ounces. What I'm going to do is just simply run it under cold water until they are thawed. And they thaw really, really fast, which is really, really great. Okay, I can feel it already. So these are shrimp that I got at Aldi. And I was kind of surprised to find them there. Now, I am not a fan of buying shrimp and seafood that is from the Pacific waters. I don't think it's very clean. I don't trust it. So I really always look at the origin. I try and find shrimp that is more on the Atlantic, from the Atlantic Ocean. And these particular shrimp, so I saw a lot of that at Aldi when I was looking at the shrimp, and I see it at other stores. And so these were actually from Argentina. I said, that works. I'll try that. These are nice and thawed. The reason why we want to make sure that they're fully thawed here, you don't want to cook them. I just have them in a little strainer here. Hopefully you can see while I've been talking. I'm just going to let that drain. They cook really fast. You want to make sure that they are fully thawed so that they cook evenly. See? Because if it's frozen, partially frozen, you're going to get, it's going to not cook evenly. And the problem is that shrimp, when it's overcooked, will get really rubbery. And we do not want that. So, quick note about the pasta. All right, so hang on. I'm going to turn this onto medium. And I'm doing enough pretty much just for myself and some. The reason being, I was actually going to do a linguini. I had just enough linguini left over, and linguini would have been really nice. Like I said, you want a long pasta with this dish. Adding a few tablespoons of olive oil, and just going to heat it up on kind of a medium heat. So I was going to make the linguini, right? And my husband does not really care for seafood that much, especially like when cooking in the house. And anyway, I didn't think he was going to want any, so I was just going to use up the linguini. So He came down and saw the shrimp and saw me getting ready. And he's like, I think I'll have some of that. So I was like, seriously? Okay, no problem. But we don't have any more linguini. So I had to go fishing, pun not intended. And I grabbed a bag of spaghetti, and so I'm doing a half a pound of spaghetti, okay? And so in terms of which will give about, for us, about 2 servings, I grabbed, this is probably about 5 ounces of shrimp right here. 4 ounces, according to the shrimp bag, is what they recommend for a serving. What do I say? That's just a guideline. So if, you know, you want more, put more in. If you don't want more, don't put more in, you know, use less. So there's no wrong or right. You're not going to ruin the dish if you have 1 or 2 more shrimp, you know, that knock it up to 5 ounces, right? So be flexible, do what you like. And really what I'm just doing here is I'm getting the garlic ready. I want to mince the garlic because I really want that flavor. Remember, this is not a red sauce recipe. This is not any type of Alfredo. It's just a simple olive oil and garlic recipe, which you can use for a lot of things. Let me tell you, I use it for doing zucchini, cooking up zucchini, tossing it in with some pasta. So you might be wondering, like, why did I not have my usual Romano cheese, which is like, you know, I love Romano cheese. And the reason is because I'm just not convinced you even need it for this dish, right? So I'm going to go ahead and add the garlic here. And so you'll notice that I used 2, oops, I only did 1 clove. So I like to use a little bit more because this is the sauce, okay? The olive oil and garlic is the sauce. So you don't want, this isn't like, oh, just do a little bit for the garlic and then you're fine, because we're going to be adding in tomatoes and all this other stuff. No. So you want to go up a little bit on the olive oil. I may have even skimped a little bit on it, but I think it'll be okay because of the quantity. So if you want specific, because sometimes people give me a hard time on these videos because I don't always say the quantities and they get frustrated with me. Well, the thing is that I'm making it pretty much for myself or for myself and my husband. So the quantities I give you are kind of approximations because on my website is where I have the actual, like, serves 4 to 6, and I have the quantities adjusted appropriately for that. But when I do these videos, a lot of times I'm just doing a smaller amount. But friends, I'm telling you, when it comes to Italian cooking, it is very, very rare, unless you're doing, like, unless you're baking, okay? Unless you're baking something like a dessert, exact quantities need to be. It is flexible, okay? So, all right. So the garlic is getting, we want to do this until the garlic is real nice and fragrant. I feel like I should turn this down a little bit, but I don't want the garlic to brown. Okay, so now what we're going to do, I am going to turn it down a little bit, actually very low, so I forgot to mention something. This is fresh parsley. You do not have to use fresh parsley. You can use dried parsley, but if you have fresh parsley, you know, and this really kind of goes with any herb, if you have fresh over dried, go with the fresh, okay? You know why? A few reasons, and I'll tell you. One is because it has, to me, a little bit more flavor, okay? You get a little bit more flavor there. Sometimes it's a different type, almost a different flavor. But I'll tell you another reason, a real practical one. I'm just kind of rolling this up in a ball here, and we'll just try and make the best of this, right? I'm just going to pull it all together and kind of, oh, I'm sure somebody's out there is going to tell me I'm doing it all wrong, but you know what? I don't care. So the other reason is very practical of why to use fresh. Because the dried isn't going to go anywhere. It's not going to go bad in the next week or two. With how many times have we bought fresh herbs at the store and we're like, oh, I'll just use it later. Oh, I'm not going to make that recipe right now. I'm going to do it later. And then there we have it. It goes bad. So I'm actually going to be doing a video on how to preserve your herbs. Keep them fresh. Really excited to do that. So I'm going to be posting that, and I'll put I'll update the description when that's ready. Okay, so I'm going to add probably about 3/4 of this. I'm using, I don't know, maybe a tablespoon, 2 tablespoons. Again, preference, no wrong or right. And one thing that's really cool about this is we're going to be adding a little bit of this parsley on at the end. So if you feel like you didn't really add enough, don't worry about it. You make up for it. Okay, great. So this is going great. You don't want that garlic to burn, so that's why I keep it low here. And now we have a nice sauce here. I'm going to show you a close-up of this. Okay. So you can see how delicious that looks. I'm telling you right now that it's already smelling absolutely amazing. At this point, if you want to add the crushed red pepper, it's a good point. This, when it mixes with the olive oil, it's really going to get pretty strong in there. So I'm going to actually not use it for this one, but feel free. And I would add a dash. You don't need a lot. Okay, so shrimp. Turn it up a little bit. Okay. You want to cook it over medium heat. I'm going to kind of keep the herbs and stuff a little bit away from it. Maybe even off a little bit. And shrimp is actually really easy to cook. You don't have to be afraid of cooking shrimp. Now, with the shrimp, you might be wondering, well, what size do I use? Do I get it deveined? Do I get it with the shell on or off? These are all questions that I had as well when I was not familiar with cooking with shrimp. And so, I mean, literally I'll stand in front of the freezer aisle where the shrimp are, and I'll be like just staring at stuff, and it just becomes like decision overwhelm. So, but anyway, I decided on, for this one, I did decide on medium shrimp, and I got it deveined. So I'm going to just show you here. Hopefully you can see it. So yeah, this is good. Happens to be in the exact position that works for you. So this is the back of the shrimp right here. You can notice that it's kind of cut out. Well, what that means is that normally there is a little black vein. It's kind of like, I don't know, it looks like a backbone. It's a vein. It's like a literal vein. All right, so we're at processes. So what you want to do is you just want to keep kind of turning it. So a lot of times you don't want that vein in there. I mean, and it's not even appealing looking, especially when you think about what's in it. So it's really nice to get them pre-deveined, okay? You want to cook this for like 3 minutes, and we're just moving them around a little bit so they don't get stuck. Okay, so you might be wondering, when do we add the lemon? Okay, so let's talk about that. The lemon, I'm using fresh lemon, okay? If you don't have fresh lemon, it is not the end of the world. The dish doesn't even have to have lemon on it. I just like shrimp and that lemon and garlic flavor, okay? So if you don't have it, don't stress. If you have something like concentrate or lemon juice in a bottle, add a few drops, okay? But you don't want to cook the lemon juice in the olive oil and get it all hot and stuff. It changes it. I don't know the science behind it. But what we're going to do is we're going to sprinkle that on at the end, okay? These are kind of beginning to turn. And again, you don't want to overcook them, but you certainly don't want to undercook them either. So I'm going to go ahead and just turn them over. And really, shrimp over medium heat probably shouldn't take more than 5 minutes, but you're going to know when it's done when it starts getting pink, okay? So what do you do? Did I turn that one already? I don't know. I think I did. So what do you do if the pasta's not ready yet, right? I mean, I'm telling you, you don't want to undercook it. I'm telling you, you don't want to overcook it. Okay, so really easy answer. You remove it from the pan. Now, how crazy is that for an easy answer, right? Okay. So I'm just going to let that finish cooking there. So, I mean, even already, it's been like only 15 minutes, and that was with me talking, and you know, going a little slower than normal just because I'm doing the video and not like whipping things around and making a huge mess. I can't tell you how good it smells. It smells absolutely delicious. So by now the pasta is going to be probably done because it's been cooking longer than yeah, this is done. So I need to take this out and stop the cooking. If you did not watch my video on this using this pasta strainer, you got to watch it because I have been using it like, okay, so I don't want to give away all the secrets, but I really do like it and it's really easy to use. So I'm going to show you how to do that. Let me get this out of the way. And it actually works out because I sprained my wrist while I gotta get that out here. So this really helps. And you can see here, I'm able to use both hands while I'm straining the pasta, which is really nice. So a lot of times I just like hold it on the edge and use a lid or something like that. But this way I don't have to deal with anything. My sink can be like a mess, kind of like it is now, and I don't have to worry about it. And it's way down. And I'm just going to dump this in. Okay? And mix in that pasta to get that olive oil. We want that olive oil in there. Alright. Now, we're going to do another thing here. Remember that parsley? We saved some. We're going to add it here. It's going to be delicious. And then what we're going to do, remember that lemon? And get the seeds out. We definitely don't want seeds in there, right? I'll just do this. Now I could have done this before I added the pasta. Does it really matter? I don't think so. Gosh, it smells so good. Really, really smells good. Alright. So, shall we do a taste test? And I'm going to get myself a bowl. Okay. Okay, I'm just going to taste it. A little bit of shrimp. Here we go. It doesn't need salt. I don't know if it's from maybe the shrimp. It does not need salt. That was really, really good. I think I might do a little bit more lemon actually. Let's see here. I'll just do it because this might be a user preference. Let me see. All right, here we go. Oh yeah. Okay. Oh wait, I have this one here. I'm definitely adding more lemon. That, again, you don't have to use the lemon, but I really, really recommend it. So one thing you have to be really careful for, and I have to as well, is to be very careful that you don't do what I just did. And that is put lemon on a quartz counter because the acid will really affect it. It could do damage. And I don't want that to happen. I will probably not ever order quartz again for my kitchen, for our kitchen, because be so careful with it. And I don't like that. I am not always mindful of that kind of stuff. So friends, this is how easy it is. And I'm going to just give a close-up here so you can see the dish. And I want you to see how awesome. See how awesome that is? It looks so good with the parsley and the garlic. Oh my gosh. It is delicious. It is really, really good. And the cool thing is you don't have to load the dish up with a ton of shrimp because you have that olive oil, garlic, and parsley flavor throughout. I mean, you could do it without the shrimp, but that's not what this recipe is about. So I really hope you enjoyed this. If you had any fears about cooking the shrimp, you just watched me do it. It's very, very easy. Just look for it when it starts turning, pink. Make sure not to overcook it. It really is as simple as that. Please make sure to subscribe and like if you enjoy Italian food. Get that notification, hit the bell, share it with your friends. I'd really appreciate it. You're doing me a huge help and yourself a help and all your friends because these are such easy recipes and I know that you and your family are going to truly enjoy it. Well, thanks so much for watching. Grazie e ciao.